Facts this very hot, scorching hot Tuesday afternoon. I sure hope that your day is going great. And, Itodo likes to preach the hydration message every single day. I hope you're staying hydrated because I promise you, all of the sweating and is it perspiration, they call it, and the likes of it, you're losing a lot of moisture and a lot of water. So you want to do the needful and drink plenty of it to top up. Your liver will thank you for it.
With the rain last night, one would have thought that the weather today will be a bit calmer, but that's not even happening. I think it's harsher than usual.
Yeah.
But I had a good night's sleep, thankfully, and AEDC behaved as well. I mean, usually when it rains, you assume that the power would go off, but it was steady and it was,
almost going on 48 hours now, no power in my neighborhood. Just, they just bring it flash and then it disappears.
No.
So I believe there's a problem. It's not funny.
I hope it gets fixed because now is not a good time to be without power.
I had to look at everything in my deep freezer to be sure how many more hours can this hold up.
Can this stand?
Yeah.
And you can't even purchase fuel to power your generator. That's another thing.
Talking about fuel, Itodo. For the first time ever in the history of my life in this country, I have never bought 10 liters above maybe tops 4,000.
Yeah.
Today, with a bag, I bought 5,000. With I beg.
And that was them being nice to you. Because usually they would
that was the guy looking
more.
at me and wondering, why is this auntie begging so hard?
No, we shouldn't be going through this right now at all.
Because what I just could not understand, I hope Ambassador Do is not listening because he doesn't like to hear black market buying at all. But, it was just a tight corner such that there was no way I would have even made it out to go about my hustle and work today. I just needed it. And I don't like my car reading empty. It was empty, empty, empty. One more step and we'll be a damsel in distress, running out of fuel.
I don't want to see you in that position.
I know,
all.
right?
And if that's the only option that you have and you can afford it, even though it's way above your budget, just go for it.
It's not about budget. It was just annoying. Why will I buy 10 liters?
So by budget, I mean budget for fuel, something you would spend usually,
sure.
right? Yeah. And I mean, as opposed to getting stuck in the middle of nowhere, hoping and praying for someone to help you out, it's best you're just in that position where you can help yourself out and hope for, something.
But did they have like a meeting? Because I left about 4 or 5 of them. One said 5,500, one said 6,000, like 6,000. You would think I'm a stranger in this country. I thought they were joking. Apparently, they had their black market seller union in my neighborhood and decided this is it. We are giving you a ceiling and a base.
They have an agreement as to how much they would sell it. So they won't go beyond or below that option.
So they have like a union of black market sellers?
Maybe not an established union, but I mean, once you ask your friends who do the same business, you're able to determine how much you will sell across different areas. Maybe what's sold for in Maitama, for instance, will be different from what you buy it for in Apo. Yeah, so I think it differs across the city. But then again, that's not something we should be doing, even though it's a means of livelihood
for 10 liters
for them. But no, we deserve better, and this needs to be sorted out in good time.
Well, I'm still in shock.
No.
What then?
What would happen when the subsidy, April is close by, the partial removal is here already,
This is not a subsidy matter. It's a matter
I'm
according to NNPC.
trying to imagine what happens when it
that
happens.
because of the election, they couldn't transport some of this thing to some parts of the country. That is what is happening. When we get to subsidy, at least we understand that it's subsidy we're dealing with.
So maybe this is prepping us for when subsidy
I don't
happens.
want any
because
preparation.
you get to pay more.
Don't prep me.
How would you know you can handle it if it doesn't start early enough? So yeah.
All right, people, welcome to the show. It's Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly. You could call me Kim, Comedy Oracle, OTF, Madam Speaker, the Digital Oracle. Love to show that in. And you're correct, Itodo is also here.
Welcome. You can watch us live right now on YouTube and Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja. Do want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all right? And follow the conversation. We'll be reading your thoughts, opinions via those channels to ensure that you are engaging with us. We'll be going through the big stories making the rounds today. There's so much happening, but a lot of focus still on the election, INEC, what they're doing, what they're saying, and of course how plans are going for the gubernatorial election, which is a concern for a lot of people. Are they going to actually hold it in good time? Because the concern is they need to reset their BVAS machine, but that needs to be.
Forgive me. I was praying Ambassador they would not be listening.
He's listening.
And then he said, you like buying it now, so stop complaining. I was hoping this is one of the days where you are not listening, you are busy with other stuff. He does not like to. He says Itodo, so power holding, carry your own power supply to your area and subjected my area to blackout throughout the night. Very sad experience, Joe, overnight though. But my neighbors experienced the heat, however, reduced by little shower of rain last night.
It was really heavy at mine. I mean, I left here in good time, but it was really heavy.
I was still in the office. It was raining intensely, so I just couldn't even move until it subsided a bit. Yeah.
Well, let's hope for more rains this month because we need it. We deserve it.
Yeah. We need the air to get a little cooler at this point in time.
Yeah.
All right, we're still expecting our guest. I don't know, maybe he's stopping by. He's on the queue. Senator Iruegbu, are you on the fair queue? Are you buying black market? What's the hold up? But we're expecting you to join us in the studio. Senator is a journalist and he'll be the one helping us wade through some of the big stories driving conversation today. And at the 5 o'clock hour, we'll step down the conversation. Talking health, we're talking about your ear and hearing. Friday the 3rd of March was World Hearing Day, and it's important for us to remind you about the importance of, paying attention to every part of your body. When your stomach runs, you're hungry and all of that. There's certain parts that you just forget about them until something happens, but we need to be mindful. Like, I hardly ever think about my lungs or my kidney or the pancreas. I mean, they're just tucked in there.
We need to be preventive before something happens.
Exactly.
We'll start running helter-skelter.
Then every now and again, you stumble on one information, they will tell you one stuff, you're like, oh dear. Hey, sometimes you forget you have these things in you.
You forget?
Because they are tucked in.
Where they're in
like
there,
you don't wake up every day thinking about, maybe you can think about your bladder because you have to pee.
Yes.
But there's just some parts
you don't think about until it's important, until something comes up.
Yeah, but it's not as if I don't want to think about them, but general wellness is important. That lifestyle choice you make to just be sure that you don't have to worry or think about it.
That's why I would encourage everyone to take walks every now and again. Take walks around your neighborhood, small runs here and there, jog. Join a fitness club because we're used to seating, driving. We barely even walk
sedentary life where we don't do so
we barely
much.
even walk to the pharmacy or the kiosk close by. We want to drive there because it's convenient. But let's learn to walk. I mean, walking. If you're walking on the road, ensure you're looking left, right, backwards, forward, because the way Nigerians drive sometimes, you're on the right side, but then somebody just comes and freaks you out with their car or their...
I agree. You advise if you want to walk on the where the car come, at least you see.
Even while I do that, I still look backwards, because you never know somebody who's trying to...
You have trust issues, but you don't know the maniac that decides to swear off the road.
Exactly.
I feel you.
Follow the wrong side of the road, so it's just better safe than sorry.
And walking works really good. I mean, if you don't want to subject yourself to intense exercise, I tend to lose weight quite fast compared to how I add it on. So I don't try to exert myself too much. But I noticed that it just, short walk here and there, just gets everything going.
People are taking long walks these days, no thanks to the Naira crunch. They're having to walk to their destination because you're able to maybe pay the drivers or, those who are moving them to the next point. And it's really sad. It's good to walk, but I wouldn't advise that you walk that much because it's a handful. It's a lot.
I feel you, particularly if the heat is intense.
Yes.
All right, people. Seeing that our guest isn't here yet, let's get started. Kingsley Ugu, good to know that you're joining us. It says, good afternoon. Yesterday night on my way home, I stopped by to buy from Black Market. When I approached the lady selling, she told me 4K. I just left angrily. I regretted not buying from her. Everywhere I went today was 5,000, 5,500.
I just felt sorry for you once you said you left her without buying.
If I knew,
I'm so sorry
if
for
I
you.
knew they were going to have a meeting and up the stake today, I perhaps would have bought 20 liters. I hope Ambassador is still not listening. He does not like to hear this.
Someone mentioned that he was going to buy fuel. They told him if you're paying in cash, you're going to pay 3,500. If it's transfer, you'll pay 5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the cash thing comes to play as well. So.
All right, Elijah Tepase, good to know you've joined us. You're out of time. You're in Benue, but you're watching all the way from there. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you and hope you continue to listen to us. Well, let's look at some of the big stories driving conversation already. And one of the stories is about the census. Can we get detail to that story, Itodo?
Yes, the census is happening. Well, it's built to happen. very soon.
If we get the
and
cash for it, but not literally cash, the money for it.
Well, they're requesting donations from kind-hearted Nigerians. I don't know how much Nigerians are well, really kind people, but I don't know how much we are willing to donate at this time. So there's a request to fund 869 billion naira census funds at this time. I'm trying to get details of that real quick so we can get right into the story. But I assumed initially when the story broke about the census being planned for, I think, sometime in March, the end of March into April.
We're March already?
Well, yeah, this is March already. So according to the federal government, we need 869 billion naira to conduct census. And Nigerians have been asked to support in cash and kind. The federal government is seeking donations from Nigerians for the conduct of the census. It says it would cost that much. The Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, said this at an event on Monday. Now, according to him, and I quote, the total requirements for this census, including the post-census activities, is 869 billion naira. This is about 1.88 billion US dollars. Now, when you hear the numbers, they really look very huge. Well, they sound huge. Censuses all over the world, the average is between $4 to $6. However, in the US, they spend $16 per person. So Nigeria's $6 per person, you'll agree with me, is very reasonable. End of quote. Now, additional requirements for the critical items to ensure the census is done is 327.2 billion naira, and that's about 709.9 million US dollars. Now, he disclosed that the census would be digital, green, and transformative, adding that beyond insecurity and cultural issues, funding remains a major challenge for the exercise. And they would also be having the house census, not just people, they'll be counting houses as well. So they're trying to put all of the funding in place and get it started.
Interesting. So, one, we don't have the cash, we don't have the budget for it. If we're still cap in hands, begging to say we need to raise this fund from wherever to do the census, doesn't sound like priority to me, even from the side of the government, if you don't have a budget set aside. And the big question is, do we even need a census? It's the twilight of this administration. Is it a census that will be conducted and Nigerians will say they did a perfect job? We're still reeling from the effect of the election. Will this not be questioned if they went ahead under this administration to conduct a census? As you were reading this story, our guest waltz his way in. We have Senator Iruegbu, journalist with Global Sentinel, with us in the studio. Senator, you are welcome.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
My apologies for coming a bit late. The traffic gridlock caused by this I have to take a longer route.
Okay, to get in.
Yes.
There are quite a lot of areas where I notice the traffic, particularly in the neighborhood where I stay. It's crazy. But thank you for making it nonetheless.
Welcome. Yeah.
Do we need a census?
Yes, we actually need a census, yes. If that's the direct question, then is the context you need to now explain, which you have already started explaining the context, whether the context is right or wrong. Whether we need a census, we actually need a whole lot of things for economic planning and to actually find out how many are we. Because people are beginning to spread doubt that we're actually the number we claim we are.
The doubt is the number is exaggerated, or we're not half the number we project.
That the number is exaggerated. So the last time we had census, I think
2006. Yeah, that's it.
2006, yes. So, but now, I also have reservation with the timing of this census. Why are you mumbling everything together? You had all the time. You had the 8 years, you did not conduct census, and you're putting it the time of election. And when you're quoting the billions, I say, inside myself, I say again, government love quoting billions, they like, and you ask them, what did they do with this money? We are still yet to find out from INEC what they did with the money. They were 400 billion. And we are still having so much discrepancies with the BVAS. And look at, you just talk about that they have to reconfigure. That means, I don't know, is it that INEC don't have it in mind that after presidential election, there may be issues whereby the result need to be preserved. And
we'll take you with the and after the commercial break. Let's run for a quick break. We'll be back.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Audio Jungle.
I keep my sunny side up so they can see me from above. I keep my sunny side up.
This is Nigeria.
Billion, you can do a better job than what is happening. Because what is this question of trying to reconfigure
The BVAS.
The BVAS or what? I don't know, because it's bogus word, and it left a lot of questions that are seeking for an answer. When you say reconfigure, are you going to tamper with the results? Are you going to wipe off what is already stored inside? Does it mean that people will not have access to what, if you go to IREB now, you will not have access to what is already there?
But what's on
already
the BVAS
controversy.
shouldn't affect what's been uploaded on the IREB.
You say?
What's the BVAS shouldn't affect what's been uploaded on the IREB.
But it should, but like, we have grown to be skeptical of government actions because they have not been forthright. If they've been forthright from the beginning, you will not begin to ask all these questions.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that is bogus. You are now explaining for them. They've not come out.
No, the explanation does not also cover what I said was IREV is another matter. But
I know.
The information,
I
the
know.
data we have on the
I know,
BVAS is one that is at question here.
Question here. Because if the one you have IREV there, you cannot have a correct. It's from the BVAS you upload now to the IREV. Now, that means there's still information in that BVAS. Is it not so?
The number of accredited voters that for the polling unit.
If you are, that means you are still going to tamper with the information, the data inside that BVAS for the presidential election. And I'm saying, when you say you are going to reconfigure it,
I'm trying to wait for you to clear your point on this and go back to the census.
Yes, I'm still linking.
Because
this is not the
it feels
background.
like you're not trapped here. If they can't do this BVAS thing, well, I can't trust them with the census.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
So that you're asking, like, what the point is, if they can't get this right, or what are they hugging the two things? Do you know what, to conduct an election itself takes huge logistics, and they are failing at it, and you are bringing censors at the same time, and the government is going out in May. Okay, you finish the election. There's already controversy trailing this presidential election, which is dovetailing to the governorship and state assembly. From there may be other cases that is going on, and now we're going to census. Assuming this was seamless, there's no question, everything was as is expected, or even exceed our expectation. You may say, okay, this government have the capacity to conduct census, because census is another logistic nightmare. And now, the mood in the country, are you sure people are really ready to subject themselves to be captured in another number thing that they don't trust the authority to give them factual figures?
Given the last census we had itself was shrouded in a lot of
census has always
controversy.
been controversial, right from even the, except during the British time. Immediately they hand over to Nigeria. In fact, part of what even led to the series of crises that led to the Civil War was from census, election crisis, then coup, then the Civil War. So census has always been very, very highly sensitive and controversial. And now, people are skeptical about the ability of the government to give them factual, verifiable figure. And most times when you even ask them questions to like hold them accountable, they're so arrogant. They don't even provide, they're not humble about it. They're not patient about it. To even explain their own is, we are perfect, take it or leave it. Just swallow what we are giving to you. Just take what we are giving to you. If you don't like it, just shut up. Or you go to court. If you go to court, we'll still press your neck the way we use
in our parlance.
In our parlance, like we are still going to come after you and and interrogate you and tell you, why are you even going to court? Why don't you accept this result as we have said so? Why are you trying to heat up the polity?
So the issue here, beyond the
lack of trust, lack of capacity, then the timing is wrong. These three key things.
But recall that lack of capacity,
then the timing.
I know that with the President Buhari administration, it's been something that has been, in the forefront of saying we're going to have a census, but they've been moving the goalpost over time. I think about 3 times until we arrived at March. March does not look feasible, because if the man is still talking, please
about funding
help us.
For it.
Funding, it's obvious that it perhaps might not even see the light of day under this administration.
Yes.
Should we even be breaking sweat? If they're still asking for money, it doesn't look like they're anywhere close to conducting it.
Anything can happen.
How?
When you say anything can happen, what do you mean? Do you feel like we'll maybe take a loan for this to happen? I mean, there's a short timeline.
Government is capable of doing anything. If they are really determined, they are really bent on carrying out these census, money won't be their problem. They'll find a way to get that money. So that's why...
are you aware of where we are in terms of our debt level and how much, aside from literally having cash crunch in circulation, that the country
have
itself...
Have stopped government from doing what they want to do?
No, but is this priority?
That's what I'm saying. Once government find its priority, still coming back to what I'm saying. Once they are determined, it's a priority to them. They will look for the money. Once it's of utmost importance and they feel this is a must. If this administration feel it's a must, except if they weigh the and feel let's not sweat over this. Let's not stress over this. They may just let it be. But if they think it's maybe the policy makers, the strategies behind the administration feel that this is key to whatever they are thinking, either for legacy purposes or for whatever, or for strategy, that this they must carry it out, that money will come out. They will find a way. That this government, money has not always, sometimes it's opportunity cost. So when government does not have money, it's things they think, they weigh option with that one they want to do and the one they don't want to do. The one that is of less importance, they do that one, even if it means borrowing. They can even take money from some other things they feel and do that one. So it's not, that's what I'm saying. If they find it that is key, of utmost importance, and that's why as a public commentator, I'm indirectly trying to discourage them by my own opinion. Say, look at, based on this, so, don't do it.
But,
so that's why.
But the proponents and the supporters of this bill will tell you, of census will tell you, that there is no way, even from the reports that Itodo read out, where you can have proper planning. Nigeria, in terms of the figure, and if you're trying to marry infrastructure with the population, it's just not meeting up at any point in time. So some people will say, for your human capital, for social infrastructural development, you need to know for sure the population you're dealing with, demographic, so that you know how many schools do you concentrate on,
Kim,
primary
so that
health care
we don't take
centers,
us back to what
and
we
the likes.
I've established the fact that we need census. We need to know for
Like
economic
yesterday.
planning. Like yesterday, that's why. Even like last 10 years.
Should be
or-
every
or-
10
yeah.
years.
Yes. So, but what I'm saying, the timing, should he leave it to maybe he must have also thought about, okay, if new administration is coming, we have to give them time to
settle
down. That is another argument for it. That's why I wonder why government decided to do it this last minute. They had, even maybe by this time last year, would have been a very good time to do it, because by then the political have not heated up like that. Or last 2 years. They would have done
that was the plan for 2 years back, I recall, and for some reason, funding and the likes of it.
Because this is their second tenure. They don't have an election to plan for their second, they may say, okay, the Buhari administration is distracted of their second. That may be a valid. But once a government secures second term, that 4 years is left for you to build legacy projects. But in that second term, note that you only have 3 years. In fact, 2.5 years. Because the rest of 1.5 year you use it for election purposes, campaign, either for your party or to ensure that opposition does not, all those kind of things. So they will have that's why I don't really know. But for my own opinion here is that this is a wrong timing. Some money have already been spent. There's already training for this.
Oh yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. All these ones they are saying there's no more. The mechanism are already in place. So if they really want to go ahead, they'll find it. But what I'm afraid is they may bungle this, because this is very important, and I don't want them to bungle it, because census is very, very sensitive.
So best bet, wait for the next administration coming.
Yes. If next administration is very serious, they are not like Buhari administration that have to wait for 6 months to appoint ordinary ministers
in 2015
from a pool of people they know, not that they imported. I'm sure they will learn from the mistakes. So whoever.
Well, it's still the same party anyway, so we would hope that
the same party until they are sworn in yet now. So, but that's the elect for now. But I trust whether the same party or whoever. I don't think anyone, if anybody perform below Buhari, for the love of Nigeria, nobody that take over should think of it, because the indices is so bad. Right. The lack of the aloofness in governance, like what we are talking about now, is that issue of lack of seriousness in governance. So I don't think anyone that is seeing what is happening now, except you want to indirectly push Nigeria, because Nigerians are taking a lot. They are very resilient people. They are enduring a lot. Most of them, they push them to the wall. They are tearing the wall, still going. One day they may say, maybe from this wall, I may fall into a pit, and they may not want to fall into a pit.
All right.
So the message for any next administration, maybe they will do things quickly and hit the ground running. Maybe that's when we'll get it.
All right.
But I don't think this government may have the capacity to give us the census we want.
Let's look at some comment quickly and get to the next story.
All right, let's do that. Looking at YouTube right now, AZ Dinachi Joseph says, good afternoon. Mazi Sunday, okay, well, my sister Kim, good afternoon. Itodo, INEC has another story for us. Fidelis Obi says, this black market thing has come to stay. If you don't like it, go to court. That seems to be the new line in town now. Finally, I've been able to put a face to who Kim is because of that unique voice. Interesting. Olayode Joshua says, it's nice to be watching online for the first time. Welcome. Fidelis Obi Court. Okay, still emphasizing that. This is the first time I'm seeing Kim. All right, still the compliment.
Thank you very much.
All right, Asira Abbas says, census is vital for national planning, but if there is no money for it, it's not necessary. This complicates the complexities of naira scarcity. Fuel scarcity must be resolved first. Nigerians are suffering. All right, and Suwa Jacob says, how many times have we had failed transactions with bank apps. Did we close down the banks? Why shout because of IREF? The information on IREF is still there. Let's start. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Did you read Asiru Abbas's comment? Government institutions in Nigeria. You
Go
read
ahead.
that?
No, I didn't.
Have credibility issues. Scarce resources should not be wasted because we have mounting of international debt to pay. And not just that, I mean, even domestic, in terms of our ways and means bill, that we're still trying to restructure so that we're not further down in debt at this point in time. That's a challenge before the National Assembly as we speak. Now, talking about challenge and the National Assembly, House of Rep member has had his name removed as a result of duress. Maybe Itodo will give us a detail of that story, the Honorable. Okay, well, let's take it from here.
Yes, so INEC has removed the name of the embattled leader of the House of Reps, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, from the list of election winners. The electoral body had declared him as the winner of the February 25th election in Doguwa Tudunwada constituency. The returning officer, Professor Ibrahim Adamu Yakasai, had earlier announced that Doguwa of APC polled 39,732 votes to defeat his closest rival of the NNPP, Yushua Salisu, who polled 34,798 votes. But in the newly released list of members-elect, his name was absent. Now, in the remarks section, INEC stated that declaration was made under duress, and in a viral video of the returning officer declaring the results, the Don from Bayero University, Kanu, could be seen reading out the results with a shaky voice.
And then they went on to look at the Section 65, Subsection 1 of the 2022 Electoral Act, which empowers INEC to review the declaration made by a returning officer under duress. Section reads that the decision of the returning officer shall be final on any question arising from or relating to unmarked ballot paper, rejected ballot paper, declaration of scores of candidate and the return of the candidate, provided that the commission shall have the power within 7 days to review the declaration, return where the commission determines that the said declaration and return was not made voluntarily or was made contrary to the provision of the law, regulation, and guideline and manual for the election. And they're talking about Doguwa. I mean, he still has the trial over alleged criminal conspiracy, culpable homicide, unlawful possession of firearm, mischief, and public disturbance. On the 28th of February, he was arrested at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport while boarding a flight to Abuja. He was arrested after police received the reports that he allegedly led thugs to set ablaze the secretariat of the NNPP in Kano, with 2 persons feared dead. Although the legislator denied any wrongdoing, he was arraigned on the 1st of March at the magistrate court in Kano, subsequently remanded in prison. And just yesterday, a federal high court granted him bail to the sum of 500 million naira. So it's not the best of time to be Doguwa at this point in time. But let's start off, Senator. The aspect, Rochas Okorocha comes to mind because that was one pressure, duress point that a lot of people were vexed by, and INEC was handicapped at that point in time to do anything about it until it went to court. But thanks to the Electoral Act, it's empowered INEC to do something about it.
At least INEC has done this one of it. I think this is one of the time INEC has taken, based on the current reality of the issues that people have raised, because there are other places that people raise issue of violence, intimidation, that INEC has not yet listened to people. But it's good that he has taken action. They have taken action. So I don't personalize INEC as Mahmoud.
Just one
it's
person,
an institution. So it's good that they have taken action concerning this, so that there will be exhaustive investigation. You know, the Honorable in question, Doguwa, also have a homicide case hanging on his neck. So plus this one, so that everything will be investigated, so that people don't think they can do anything and get away with it. Maybe if he is used as an example to serve for others, so be it, as long as he's guilty. if he's innocent. That's why he's still subject to further investigation. But it's good that things are being on hold until there's a substantive investigation to find out, verify these results made under duress, then other cases he has against him.
Now, there's a bit of a worry as to him being granted bail. Now, we hear that CSOs are kicking against him being granted bail by the courts. And does that in any way change the case being handled at this point? Because there could be worries of him not making himself available when the case starts hearing.
A lot. You know, this administration has made us begin to look down on judicial pronouncement. They have, because of their action, they have watered down the power, the effect, the potency of the judiciary. Now, look at what is happening in the Naira redesign case. Supreme Court have issued pronouncement. Is it 3 times, 4 times? Even the members of the public, because they know the executive choose to comply when they want to or not of the pronouncement or ruling of the judiciary. So people are still skeptical. It's not as if they want to disobey it, but they have learned, because the administration, this current, pick and choose the kind of rules they want to apply or obey. So, and the judiciary themselves has not also helped matters, because when you begin to flout your own rule, like based on the status of the person, and the law is not, as we are saying, theoretically, is no respecter of anybody or status, but this is what the law has done now. You're now afraid of a status. Tell me, if he's an ordinary criminal, someone ordinary, because he's not a criminal yet.
He's innocent until proven guilty.
But the allegation based on is unbailable until there is a legal procedure too. So now, if you say, how do you now apply such for another person if you can apply for him? So it's giving some wrong perception for members of the public, and that's why there's various decisions the government have been taking as giving wrong perception for members of the public not to trust institutions again. And over time, once that perception begins to build, it makes the institution become weaker and weaker, and makes the individual within the become stronger. Now you obey individuals, no longer the institution, because individual can decide to discard what the institution say based on their own whims and caprices, and it's not supposed to be so. The institution is supposed to be stronger than the individuals, but opposite is the case based on how they've bastardized both the ruling and obeying what the law says.
Well, some critics will also point out the fact that the start of President Buhari's administration has just been a face-off between the executive and the judiciary. Remember when the homes of some judges were barged into and corruption allegation raised against quite a number of them. That one handled to a point where it got a lot of people talking. The impression then was, oh, they are the corrupt ones. They're the ones giving verdict in the court. And it felt like it was pitching Nigerians against the judiciary. That hurdle was surmounted, the way the former CJN was removed. So it's an interesting interplay. If you're looking at the executive and the judiciary in the life of President Buhari's administration.
It's just like when people say farmer has clash. What we had was some group slaughtering the other, so there was no clash. There is no face-off between the judiciary and the executive. What is happening is the executive capturing judiciary, intimidating them.
Intimidation?
Yes. Because, one, when such move was made,
the intimidation by not respecting court order also.
That's what I'm saying. You cited some example, and all those examples is example of executive infringing on the rights of the, like you say, they are setting the people. First, you invaded.
No, that's what critics said. That it felt like they were pitching the people against the judiciary.
I want to cite example. You say face up. There's no face up. It's not as if judiciary was making some this targeted against to infringe on the powers of the executive. Is the executive taking actions that are eroding the legitimacy, the power, the potency of the judiciary and judicial pronouncements? First, there was this Gestapo invasion of judges' house without following the laid-down rules, and that was the starting point. Then there was disobedience of court orders and rulings across board, from Dasuki to Kanu to many other. Pick and choose. Even right at this moment, it doesn't mean that there have been some controversial cases judiciary has made that are not members of for the majority, because I can't say all, because there are those who that rule in favor to. But when you sample the opinion of members of the public, they are not comfortable with such ruling. But such ruling were not made in a way to target a road. Enough. You cite the example of invasion of judges, the way Chief Justice was controversially removed, intimidated, cajoled and removed. Then the issue of disobeying court rules. Even I just cited the latest example of Naira redesign. No matter how we feel about it, but Supreme Court made a ruling, say status quo. Executive, that one didn't concern them. They rule again, maintain the status quo. It didn't concern. They even pronounce final judgment.
An order.
Both the CBN governor or even the president has not really.
Just a statement to address the situation.
So when you look at this, it's not issue of there's no face off. The face off is as if there's two parties trying to whittle down each other's. This one is executive either by deliberately or by default of their actions. Maybe it may not be by default of whittling down or eroding. Still the same thing. The power of the judiciary.
All right then.
So it's not a face-off. It's a massacre.
Okay, massacre is a strong word. We're not going to use that at all.
Okay, let me not use the.
Yes, we're not using that word.
I'm using figuratively, not.
I understand, but you see, we don't want to be explaining figuratively speaking. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We have one more story to look at because INEC has put out the list of the rep members and House Senate members. But before we give you detail around that story, let's take a few thoughts in from the stories we've looked at and comments maybe.
All right, you can call in right now 0700 951 0000 08095974869 to send the WhatsApp message or a WhatsApp voice call. It is 08099930137. Welcome to you.
Hello, good afternoon, Itodo and Kim, and your guest in the studio.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Hola the Indomitable and Indifati Gobu, calling from Lube. You see, I have this strong belief that this president just likes to embark on policies that are not so much beneficial to the people, or policies that it's like it doesn't consider the cost and benefit of policies before ruling them out. From 1984, when this president introduced the so-called Council program, policy that didn't go nowhere. At least available record shows that that policy in 1984 did not succeed. And the man introduced the same thing in 2023. And look at what Nigerians are facing today. It's that president that wants to embark on this revolt. I'll call it revolt, this so-called censors. Because at the end of the day, the data we're going to get from this exercise will not be used by the government. It's a government that likes calling black, white. Look at how much we spend, just like your guest in the studio said, how much we spent on introducing technology to give a kind of a credit to this electoral system. Look at how much we spent. And look at what has come out of it now.
All right.
Honestly. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Ola. Welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon, Dikin Itodo.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon, Digital Oracle. Yes, you are welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Alasi, and I want to sincerely say that honestly, with the expectation of Nigerians on INEC, they really disappoint Nigerians because they make promises that they are going to be transmission of result from the poll. And this INEC chairman, the amount that he requested, it was given to him. Whatever he demanded from President Muhammadu Buhari, make sure that he meet his needs. But look at what happened. Look at the shamble in the husband. In fact, they intended to dash the hope of Nigerians to come out. I have never experienced turning up for election like this election. But what we say, nothing. So I think government should do something. There should be improvement. They should amend this constitution that election, the result must be transmitted, not made. It must be transmitted at that polling booth before people can have confidence again to come out and vote. And I'm urging them, they should come out on Saturday to do the same. Thank you. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome to you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Itodo and Kimberly and our guests. Yeah, this honorable minister off your mic. The census now, we don't need it. Cannot give up anything. One, look at the places occupied by Boko Haram. Niger State is here. Some local governments occupied by bandits, control. Some local government controlled by bandits and other places. Can they enter that place to count? Please, let this government just prepare the kaya. Go. There will nothing we are going to benefit here. On that very 155 billion given to Jega, yes, Mr. President said that they want to conduct an election that will be a legacy. All his legacy cannot forget. Unborn children will not forget it. Even the enter grave, we might enter grave.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good afternoon to you.
And our guest.
Welcome.
It's shock.
What's your name?
I have two states to take on. One is what you people were discussing earlier concerning scarcity of fuel. You see, the government is actually quiet. They are not saying anything. Nobody knows why fuel is not available now. Or nobody knows whether the fuel is available and the marketers are just doing what they want. Imagine Kim saying that he bought fuel 10 liters for 5,000. That is 500 naira per liter. I mean, that's disheartening. Where we have governments, police stations don't sell fuel anymore except to bring cash. They know that their cash is not available. They will shuffle people and collect cash from them and go and sell it to people that are doing POS, making extra money. I mean, that is this. Nigerians, most marketers are very wicked. They make do and enjoy in any period of time they pick, they want to make excess money from people. See how Nigerians are suffering. Somebody can stay in a queue for 6 hours without still getting the fuel. Even when you reach the period you are going to get the fuel, you pay bribe to get it. The second one is that of the judgment that they made that allow a suspected murderer in Kano to go free. I mean, to go free now. That particular judgment
people are listening to you.
On the judiciary.
People are listening to you. He has not been told to go free. Granted bail in the sum of 500 million naira.
For now,
so for you, it is not go free. If you use that, it's wrong interpretation of what's happened, because the case is still pretty much in court. It's just that it's been granted bail.
That bail, man, and actually threatening more people that will bring evidence against him. If actually they are saying that he burned people alive, he leaked folks to go and burn people alive, he's not supposed to be bailed until his investigation is completed.
All right.
Okay, let's take a few messages right now. Looking at the YouTube platform. Kimberly and Itodo, your guest is making sense with his submission. Thumbs up to him. And Estefanos Maliam says, okay, shout out to you as well. Thank you very much, Abdul Awal Ade Wale. Let's see what's happening on Facebook.
Good evening.
What's up, brother?
OTF and Itodo. I spent 24 hours on the queue to get fuel from 10 a.m. yesterday to 10 a.m. today. Mosquito finished me. The suffering is too much. Mediba from Abuja. Ikenna said additional advice is in working. Added to the one you mentioned, you should also work in a zigzag manner to avoid stray bullet. Okay, I don't know where that is coming from, but you must be for laughs. Good afternoon. In respect of the censors, I hope the death will not be counted in the number, because what does not happen in Nigeria does not exist anywhere. Gideon from Gwagwalada. Nath from One Man Village. Good afternoon, Kim Itodo. I've been listening to you since 2015. My first time to reach you today. Oh, good to know you made that effort. Let's go on a break for the news. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. It's okay. She. Off your mic.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1.